Da 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 da. Gotta put that someplace. All right, guys, welcome back. Put those right there. Light up the flux capacitor for you. You know, when I started these, I was going for a Mr. Rogers kind of vibe, but it didn't really stick. This isn't a TV show. This is a dramatic reading. All right, here we go. Act 2, Scene 2. Enter various residents of Hill Valley and all that, you know, announcers and all that stuff. Okay. Radio in a car. Elect again our Baron, good Red Thomas, for truly Progress is his middle name. That sounds familiar. His Progress platform maintaineth more employment, improved education for the young, improvement civic, and reducted taxation. I bid thee, when election day doth come, cast your votes for a trusted, proven leader. Marty, in an aside. What sights I've seen since I did here arrive! This is Hill Valley, town where I reside. And yet, undoubtedly, 'tis changed as well. For the music I hear playing is no song of modern times, but something from the past, the tale of Mr. Sandman, and how he assisted to work in the bringing of one's dreams. This drowsy Cupid, roast by the Greeks, doth use no arrows, but a sleeping draught, to lull a paramour to loving sleep. The song enchanted 30 years ago, yet now it soundeth old to youthful ears. The films our nearby theatre doth screen are also from bygone days of yore. The Stanwyck Reagan Western that it shows doth sound more to me like a voting platform. The Reagan that I know doth lead our nation. The cars are classic from another time. The people, too, arrayed as they once were in photos of a history now past. This service station seemeth heaven sent. The bell dings playfully as cars approach, and men, like bees upon a fragrant flower, do swarm to help the customer at once. 'Tis all familiar, yea, yet unfamiliar. The car did pass with message to convey, to elect the Baron one Red Thomas, whom I know not, of whom I've never heard. Moreover, whilst I stood dumbstruck and gaped, the clock, the very clock which should be broken, began to chime as it has never done. Not in my lifetime, nay, his mournful tone. Westminster is a deep and soulful knell that shakes me to my core. Last scene of all. That ends this strange, eventful history. Last scene of all, that ends this strange, eventful mystery, was one newspaper someone did discard, which had the current date upon its masthead, November 5th of 1955. My previous opinion, I repeat, this must be some strange dream, and nothing more. Or yonder is perhaps mine only hope, a public telephone in a cafe, wherewith I may find Doc, who should be here, wherever or whenever I may be. Enter Lou's Cafe. Lou Carruthers and customers. And a young... Oh, this is going to be a fun scene, guys. Hold on to your pants. Lou. What's thy story, Junior? What hast thou done? Hast thou jumped from a ship and wandered here? What, sir? The life preserver thou dost wear, as 'twere a doublet, yet 'tis surely not. For there never was a doublet so absurd. Forgive me, I would use thy phone, 'tis all. 'Tis in the back. My thanks, kind sir, for this. A phone book, ah, familiar tome indeed. At least this trusty critical device shall ne'er be out of fashion in the future. odd social commentary. We don't use them much anymore. They still make them. Don't know why. Shall never be out of fashion in the future, indeed. Okay. Ah, brown. So many people have the name. As if the rainbow had been melted down and smelted, leaving only that dark hue to represent the spectrum. Here it is. One, Emmett Brown, a scientist who doth reside at 1640 Riverside Drive. Hurrah! Thou art here, and art alive! I call, but only ringing do I hear, an endless ringing mocking all my hopes. Alack! I take this page with his address to find him with my feet, if nothing else. Tulu, knowest thou where 1640 Riverside? Shalt thou some morsel order, wayward lad? Indeed. Give me a tab. A tab thou'lt have, once thou dost place thine order. Knowest not thou how this doth work in modern times as these? A Pepsi free, then. Prithee, shall be mine. No Pepsi free, thou must pay for thy drink. The man doth turn away my words in baffling circles, as if they were a top, and he the spinner. Give me something to drink that has no sugar, 'tis all I ask of thee. Aught lacking sugar. Thou art a puzzling and naughty lad. I give thee coffee black, with sugar none. No, if I practice more, I could probably not laugh so much, but I'm hoping you're laughing along too, because this stuff is just hilarious. Did I miss something? Oh yeah. Enter young left-handed with skinhead and 3D and match. No, Imp McFly, what art thou at herein? Biff Tannen, by my troth, yet young and strong. I speak to thee, McFly, thou Irish pest. Holla there, Biff, and sirrahs all, hello. Hast thou my homework finished yet, McFly? In truth, is not yet completed, Biff, because it's not due until far later. I'll bash on thy pate, and thou so speakest, as brains herein that I must knock? Are brains herein that I must knock and see? Use thy mind and think with it, McFly. I must have time enow to write the words in mine own hand, as if the work were mine. This sounds familiar. Hast thou the consequences considered, George? Should I submit some homework penned by thee, writ in the manner of thy shaky hand? I would most quickly be sent from the school. Thou wouldst not want that lot for Biff, wouldst thou? Speak faster, for thy pause doth vex. Of course not, Biff. 'Twould be a tragedy. I'm doing voices. Have I been doing that this whole time? That doesn't sound like George, though. To Marty, upon what lookest thou arse-like pate? Behold his life-preserver, Biff, ha! This knave, this rogue, this dork thinks he shall drown. Ha! Aside, if I laugh, be like, they'll let me be. How about the homework I require, McFly? Forsooth, Biff, I shall finish it tonight, delivering it to thee upon the morrow. Shall this suffice? It shall, but not too early. I want on Sundays, 'tis to slumber late. Oh, look out below, McFly, thy shoes untied. Thou art too gullible by thrice, McFly. Now as I leave, hear these final words. I would not see thy face herein again. Oh. Biff, what a wondrous person. Ta, farewell. Amazing sight. My father. Oh, 'tis he. What is it? For thy stares are like two knives, which slice the air, and pierce my very visage. By all the heavens, thou art George McFly. Indeed, yet who art thou that I should care? Goldie. Now wherefore should thou let those naughty boys push thee around as though thou wert their plaything? They're bigger than I. They bigger are than I, and if thou seest they number 4, whilst I am only 1. Stand tall and proud, my boy. Have more respect for he whom thou shouldest most respect for thyself. Let me start that one again. That didn't. Stand tall and proud, my boy. Have more respect for he whom thou should most respect, thyself. Dost thou not know, if in the present time thou now allowest folk to tread on thee, thy life entire shall folk repeat the walk, and thou shalt live thy whole life under foot. Look thou on me. Thinkest thou that I shall spend my days entire within this house bleak? The slop house bleak? Pray watch thy tongue now, Goldie. Nay, not I. I shall make something better of myself. My dreams shall take me far. To night school now, and in the future, I'll somebody be. Indeed, 'tis right. The man shall baron be. Yea, I shall... Baron! What a pleasurable thought. I shall be baron. Ha! So shall it be. This strangely clad soothsayer is right. A fine idea, which well does speak pleasure in my mind. Which well doth please my mind. Sorry, wow. I am a little dyslexic, please forgive. Lou, a baron with skin of color? Nay, this is the future I'll not live to see. I bid thee watch me closely, Sir Carruthers. I worked on jobs with my feet and my hands, but all my work was for the other man. Now I chance to do things for myself. No more I'll beat my head against the wall. I shall be baron, most powerful man in all Hill Valley. I'll clean up this town. 'Tis well. Begin by sweeping the floor. We really should get this on stage. I'm enjoying this way too much. It sounded sweet, thy Baron Goldie Wilson. Most amply would it suit my fervent goals. The worthy heart and soul I do possess, with needed progress for Hill Valley too, the town that I do love, which must yet grow. Exit Goldie. To Marty. Where has my father, George McFly, escaped? There! Outside the window doth he fly, atop his bicycle, with chiming bell. How quickly he eludes discovery, as if he were engaged in some foul deed. I'll follow him, not let him disappear, for gladly I would meet someone I know in this mysterious, confusing past. Even someone awkward and unsure, like father, and verily, what damage could it do to make acquaintance with a person whom I shall hereafter become to know so well? What? Ho! Dad! George! Thou who dost ride the bike, I bid thee stop! Cease all thy peddling! Fie! Neither cars nor heart do heed my call. He heareth not. So I must follow on. Enter George above on a balcony. Here we go. Well, we're about to find out how they're going to do this scene. I was kind of curious. All right. With these binoculars I shall espy a woman at her leisure, being dressed. Such sight doth stimulate, arouse, excite. She is the muse who sparks creative thought. One of the nine who thus may move men's hearts. The finest of her sisters, skin like silk, and pink like tulips at the height of spring. Forfend me, fate, that she turn not to siren, and dash poor George's life upon the rocks. I bid ye, gentles, who may see me here atop this bough, or I do bow to her, who is the paragon of my desire. Think not that I am proud of what I do. He who is proud eats himself up. Pride is his glass, his trumpet, his own chronicle. No place hath pride amid necessity, and this sweet sight, I tell ye, verily, is more than necessary unto me. Okay. Marty. Behold, here is the bike, and there the man, up in the tree, gazing on a house. The man is nothing but a peeping Tom, who could not from Godiva draw his eyes. Instead, he did behold her nakedness, as she atop her gallant steed rode on, and was, for this offensive act, struck blind. Nay, George, I bid thee, be thou not a Tom. Tom George should be another's name, not thine. Be careful, sir, lest thou wouldst share his fate, and find thyself a punished, blinded man. George. Alack! I slip! I fall! Boom. Marty. Nay, father, nay! Shall my prediction happen in a trice? Nay, not while I have life and breath to stop. As sure as I have a thought or a soul. We know what happens here. Sam. Here we go. Another youth has jumped athwart my car. What is it with these modern foolish boys, e'er seeking for an automotive death? 'Tis like each doth believe he is James Dean, who was of late lost in a tragic crash. Would every young man seek a fate like his? That they may die as rebels sans a cause. Pray, Stella, quickly come! Where thou art, come hither, that we shall take him into the house. Oh, for a swifter, more responsive spouse. And that's even the end of Act 2. Wow, that was a short act. And a couple of short scenes, well, short-ish. The last video was only like 8 minutes, and this one was like going on 17 and a half, so. Not 30. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, come back next time.